creative humans, and welcome back to a new episode of Just Notes. Today's episode is gonna be particularly challenging because we are going to use SOPs. So you'll see that most of our 10 notes are gonna be related to setting our geo, render, and so on. But nevertheless, we will show how we can be creative and thanks to TouchDesigner flexibility achieve a lot of different outputs. So as you are seeing, I'm setting up just a simple circle and a basic geo render camera setting with a line material. And in this way we are also going to save a node from the light because we are not gonna need it. And then I'm setting a noise that we are gonna use just for colors as we did in the last episode, and then an edge. So now we have just 3 nodes left and we are gonna use chops that are gonna control our instancing. So I'm setting up an LFO, a constant, and a pattern. In the constant, I'm gonna set up 2 variables, tx and ty, that we are gonna use for instancing, obviously. And then I'm setting the pattern as a ramp, changing the length, and then we are referencing that length in the... Oh, I need to activate that. Okay, sorry. I'm referencing the length into the end of the channels and setting them as samples, so we are not gonna have problems changing the length and then in the instancing, otherwise we are getting errors. Okay, now so we are ready to go to the geo and start our instancing. I'm gonna set the pattern for the rotation and change the range to 360 minus this really simple expression in Python so that we stop a step before our complete rotation. And then finally we are setting what is gonna play the magic here, that is our constant as instancing for the pivot. This is where the magic will happen in all these just nodes. And we are done! We are ready for the first visual, because right here we are not seeing much, but we are gonna do in a second. So right now we are not seeing anything, even if we are instancing, but if we start moving our pivot, the instancing that was going on is gonna show up. So now we change the radius, we translate the camera so we are centering up this mandala geometric thing that I want in the center, and we set our LFO with a few parameters, and we are gonna reference that both in the anchor U of the circle but also to the center with the minus before. So we are creating some movement in this shape, and now we are gonna play with the material. So I'm gonna thicken up the line, I'm gonna remove the start and then cap and change the color to pure white, and also adjust the alpha to be just 0.1 and enable the blending. This is going to create a bit of a mess, but if we turned off the depth test, it's gonna fix that. So now this is what is happening in the geo, and it's time for a bit of color. So we are setting up the noise to purling, and these are just parameters that I test out that I like, but you can choose whatever you prefer. And now we are setting also the edge. We are compositing over the input because we don't have another node to do that, and I'm setting the color and the strength to my taste. This is really for just aesthetic reason, so you can do what you prefer. Back to the circle, I don't like to see the angles of the curves, so I'm setting it to NURBS and increase the divisions. And we're done! We're ready with the first visual. Okay, so for the next pattern, starting from here, I'm gonna change the LFO and change the movement type to triangle because I liked it the most. And I'm going for a really big offset and amplitude. So right now we are not seeing anything. I'm just adjusting a bit the pivot point. We are not seeing anything because the movement is so big, because I'm not gonna link the LFO to the circle center and the anchor anymore. So I'm turning those back to constant and adjusting it manually. And instead I'm linking the LFO to the range of the pattern. So now we have the curves that are rolling back and forth. I'm adding some values to have them different. And now we are fixing the circle because I don't want it to be a circle anymore, I want an hexagon, and I'm fixing the radius and divisions. I'm increasing slightly the line width. And I'm decreasing the alpha because I want more transparency here. And I'm fixing the camera so I have it centered and symmetrical. Okay, and for color play, as always, you can do what you like the most. These are just some parameters that I tested that I like. And I'm gonna translate the camera because I wanna focus on the pattern and going to polygon because I want the angle and decrease a lot the number of hexagons. And I'm gonna skip the edge because I don't want it here. And we are done. Okay, for the next visual, I'm gonna bring back the range to constant. I'm gonna change the LFO back to some smaller parameters and relink it to the anchor of the circle. Then I'm gonna change the radius just temporarily and move it on the top of the screen and get more divisions for it. Then I'm gonna translate the camera so that the center of the circle is the upper left corner, and we are changing the pivot position, which is the core of all this network, since the instancing is doing most of the job here. Okay, now I'm stretching the circle on the Y direction to fill up the screen, and it's time for color. Okay, this is not what I actually tested, but I think I like it most, so I think I'm gonna go with that. So sorry if the parameters for the noise are not gonna match with the recap. And then I'm adding back a little bit of edge, and we are done with this really simple but effective geometric pattern. Okay, now we're gonna have real fun with this one. So I'm changing the LFO parameters once again, and I'm linking those to the Y radius. Adjust the center and pump up division to 50. Okay, and right now not a lot has changed, but now we're gonna fix that. So I'm putting this number for range right here, that is just like 2 360 circle less the last step, so we don't have any circle that is going over each other. So I'm translating the camera, and right now we are not seeing really why, but the big thing here is that I'm updating the instancing, so I'm bringing the channel from the pattern also to rotation X and rotation Y. And also in the whole geometry, we are gonna add rotation with the up.second to all the rotation axes. And now we have this strange creature moving around. I'm fixing a bit the line thickness, and I'm scaling down to 0.1 the whole geometry so that we can see it as a whole. And I'm turning the monochrome on for the noise this time. And I really like this optical thing, also with the yellow edge. So I think I'm gonna leave it. I want to achieve some kind of blurry effect, and to do that I'm gonna turn on the strength and sample of the edge, and then play with the amplitude of the noise. Okay, I really like this neon green for this kind of alien creature. And here we are with this final visual. Okay, for the new visual, we remove all the rotation from the geo, add a little bit of translation, get the camera to orthographic and adjust the ortho width, and translate it so the visual is centered. Then I also change the radius and anchor U back to constant and adjust the parameters. Going back to center to be 0, 0, 0. And this time we turn on colors again, and I adjust the parameters in a combo that I like. And we use really little edge with the white color. For the LFO, we reduce it, and this time we reference the LFO to the constant pivot that we are going to use. We increase the length in the pattern and change the range to uniform. And the big thing this time is we change the instancing, so we use the pattern also in the scale while parameters, and we are almost done. We change the line cap to round and fix the color. And we remove the rotation instancing from rotate X and Y. And here we have this double spiral moving. Okay, we change the LFO again this time, and I also change the type to sine. Also, I want the pivot to be constant 0, 0 this time, and also I change the instance number to 12 and the range with the same formula we already used. Also, we adjust the radius of the circle and reference the LFO in the anchor U. Also increase divisions and fix the archetype. And we remove the scale instancing we just used and bring all the translation and rotation in the geo back to 0. But the big thing this time is that we don't draw lines, but instead we draw points. So we turn those on with the size multiplier of 8. We don't need the far color. we turn back camera to perspective, and also we center it. And for the alpha, as we did with the lines, I want it really transparent. Okay, we are almost there. We turn back the uniform scale to 1. And I want a quite visible black edge this time, because this thing really reminded me of the glass mosaic in church windows. So I went for that style and fixed the colors. And I increase the point width, and we are done. Okay, once again we start by changing our LFO. That is clearly a core part for this. I slightly fix the parameters, and I'm gonna reset the anchor to the standard parameter and fix a bit the radius and center for this. And I turn off the points and go back to lines, because I found this was the most flexible in my opinion, but I'm really happy if you try this and prove me wrong. Also, we go with 100 width this time. I'm moving a bit the pivot point. And increase the instance number to 30. I move the camera really close this time, because I want to focus on this kind of high shape that is forming. I really love it. In the edge, we are going for a pretty strong edge. We fix the colors. And we use again the sample step to create this kind of blurry thing, and use the alpha to create this kind of reflections effect. And this geometric eye is ready. Okay, this is really beautiful and really fast. We are fixing again the LFO and the pivot point. I'm setting the camera in the final position already. I'm leaving the anchor U reference and fixing a bit radius and division, just a bit. In the geo, I'm setting the uniform scale back to 0.1 and setting the rotation Z with the Ebbs time.seconds expression, and using the pattern again for scale instancing on X and Y axes. For this one, I preferred going with the monochrome noise, because I think it complements the best this highly geometric shape. Fixing the edge to further enhance it. going for a really smaller line width. And here we have our geometric shell moving around. Okay, for the last visual of today's episode, we again start by fixing LFO and the pivot point. I'm increasing the length, so the instance number, up to 90, and change the range in the pattern, so we are doing 2 full circles. I'm adjusting the radius. And a nervous curve. We remove the scale from the instancing and also the Ebbs time.seconds from rotation. Now we set the camera much more closer, and also we give a constant rotation to the geo, actually with a minus, so it's minus 45 degrees in the X, and we start playing with the period color, keeping it monochrome. And I really like this kind of geometric, abstract, really intricate drawing that I interpret as a black hole. Really scientifically inaccurate, I know. And this time, playing with the edge is really important. And we set the alpha to 1. And we can decide to go for a strong black and white, or playing with the gray transparency in between, and which part highlight, moving the period and the exponent in the noise. And I think I really like this combination. Slightly fixing the center again. And here we have it. Thank you a lot for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. It was really challenging. If you want to support me and continue seeing this series, please subscribe and leave a like and maybe a comment. I really appreciate it, and it really helps me. Bye!